And some of you actually have been deceived and you've been conditioned to think that God doesn't speak to you, that actually you need to go to a man of God or you need to go to a certain prophet somewhere, you have to go to a certain pastor, you have to go to a certain church. You have been deceived, you have been robbed. You have paid for prayers, you have paid to hear from God, you have paid, seeded this, seeded that. You don't want to call them scams, but many people have been scammed and you're thinking maybe God doesn't speak to me. So today I want to tell you that God speaks. He may not speak in the ways we're expecting. Hey, don't let your life go unlived because it's never late. Never late. Hi, I'm so excited today. It's another story time. Whoa, I love the story time. Now, before we even get into the story, I am Jamie and welcome to my channel. This is a place of personal growth, personal improvement. It's a place where we believe that we can be better. We can be a better version of ourselves. And it's never late. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how your social status, economic status, physical status, I don't know, wherever you are in life right this point, you can actually get better. So you want to be a better person, you are in the right place. And again today we have another story time. The last time we had story time, I got a lot of feedback from you guys. Thank you. I appreciate. I'm so happy to know that God is doing amazing things in your lives. Oh my God. I am so happy for you and for the people that were encouraged. Wow, wow, wow. So I'm doing another story time today, and my desire is to encourage someone out there who is always asking, by the way, okay, I hear God speaks. I heard the other person saying they met God in this and that way. I have seen people, preachers here, or people share testimonies of how they had God telling them to do a BCD. I have read in the Bible. And you're like, but how come God doesn't speak to me? And some of you actually have been deceived. You have to go to people for them to tell you what God is saying to you. And you've been conditioned to think that God doesn't speak to you, that actually you need to go to a man of God or you need to go to a certain prophet somewhere, you have to go to a certain pastor, you have to go to a certain church. But somehow some of you have come to a point where you think another person is going to tell me what God is speaking into my life. For a minute I was like, what if I did not hit the record button? But yeah, we are rolling. And you have been deceived, you have been robbed. You have paid for prayers, you have paid to hear from God, you have paid, seeded this, seeded that. I'm not saying that those are wrong. Those are good things, those are good practices. But when you're doing them with guidance from the Lord, with knowledge from the Lord, not just you heard that here, you can pay and then the pastor will pray over you and tell you what God is saying for your life. Not those scams. We don't want to call them scams, but many people have been scammed and you're thinking maybe God doesn't speak to me. So today I want to tell you that God speaks. He may not speak in the ways we're expecting because we've been made to believe that maybe he speaks in a certain way, a certain voice. So you've never had that voice. So you think God has never spoken to you. You heard of that story. There's a story we used to hear growing up of this guy who asked God to visit him, and then he prepared, waited for God, and God didn't show up. So at the end of the day, he's very disappointed. He's like, but God, you promised me you are coming. I waited and you didn't show up. And God said, I came. I came, you chased me. I came several times actually. You chased me. So you remember that man who came that was not dressed nicely, and then he remembers a guy who came, was dirty, and chased him, say, I'm expecting an important guest. Please don't spoil my house. Like, please give me a cup of water. Sir, please, I beg of you, please. Just try the neighbors. Say, that was me. Say, I came back. You remember this and this, and you see the guy had chased away God unknowingly. And some of us miss the voice of God because we expect it to be a certain way. Now, I'm going to give you a story. This is story time. I'm going to give you a story that, for me, it was actually after that story that I was like, this was actually God. So this one time, so this one time I'm in this place, this amazing place with beautiful stores, and I wanted to buy shoes. I wanted to buy school shoes for school goers. And there were these amazing stores, these very good brands. And my friend had told me, at this place, you actually get shoes from, first of all, the original store, and then at very good prices. Had even told me prices. I'm like, oh, that's not the price I'm buying shoes way back in my hometown. What are you talking about? So I was really looking forward to going to this place. So we go to store one, they're amazing shoes. But then there's a kind of shoe that I wanted that I couldn't find. But I find plan B at a good price. It was a price less than prices I actually buy them back home. And I was like, okay, this is my plan B. Let's first look for a shoe that has this kind of body. There's a kind of body I wanted. We go to another store. I find the kind of shoe. My goodness, the price was almost double what I was willing to pay. And I remember joking with my friend and telling her, I think at this price, my kids will have to first grow up, work hard, and afford the shoes themselves. But for as long as it is me buying them, I am sorry, this price is for people who are working. Oh my God, that was crazy. We moved to another store. There were quite a number of stores. And again, we find the kind of shoe that I want. But again, the price was a little bit on the high end. We moved to a fourth store. The price is a little bit on the high. Now, before we actually moved to the fourth store, we are looking for that store, and then we bypass another store. Now, this store is not for a brand. This is like somebody who sells shoes. And then they have these various brands that in there. And I remember telling my friend, if this brand has a store here, I would imagine they sell their shoes cheaper than this person who is selling their shoes on their behalf. So we said, no, let's first look for the actual store and see if we can find the shoes. So we bypassed that store. There's even a guy calling us. We said, we're coming back. We bypassed the store and we look for the other store, which we finally find. And the prices are still high. So now what do we do next? I'm thinking plan B, which is within my budget. Those are shoes I can manage, an adult can manage, but I didn't think a child can manage those shoes, especially a child in school. And then when we came into this place, there's a store I had seen, but we moved to other stores. And I remember telling her, but there's a shoe store I saw on the other side. Let's first go and check it out. And then we decide. Now there I was going to decide on whether to buy shoes or not buy them, because it really didn't make a lot of sense for me to buy them more expensively when I can get them at a cheaper price home. I was in that space of confusion. So as we are heading to that store, we again bypassed the store that somebody called us, and we are thinking, okay, this is not for any brand, it must be even more expensive. So this gentleman, again, we find him and it's like, come and see, we have a discount. So we're like, anyways, let's pass here, and then we finish at the other side. So we enter in and we actually see the shoes that I wanted, and for various brands, and the price was relatively similar, but again, it was at that point when your budget is this amount and you're going to pay just slightly above your budget. And I was a bit confused on, should I buy the shoes? Should I not buy the shoes? And I remember having moved around, and I'm looking for shoes for 2 children. and I've seen a size for one, I'm looking for a size for the other. And then I remember thinking to myself, what do we do? Let's go to that last store, and then we now decide which store we're going to buy shoes from. So I told my friend, and we are heading out. So as we are heading out, there was another section of the store that we hadn't gone to. And then I feel in my spirit, go check out that side. So I tell my friend, we haven't checked the other side. Can we maybe check it and see? She was already like at the door getting out. If she had continued and said, no, let's check the other side, I would have followed her, because I asked her that, hesitantly. And she's like, okay, sure. She turns, and we go that side, and then the first shoes we are seeing are like office shoes for old people. And I remember thinking to myself, no, I think this section just has another type of shoes, not the ones we want. And I wanted to go back. I'm like, no, let's just go check the other side. But then something kept on prompting me, no, just keep checking. I mean, 5 minutes is not a time waste. You can look through. If you don't find them, that's fine. Something, kept on prompting me, no, keep checking. Keep checking, at least so that you have really checked and you've not seen the shoes. So I keep checking, but I'm looking at different types of shoes. As I go further into that section of the store, I'm looking at different kinds of shoes, and I'm like, no, I don't think they are here. And then I turn, and lo and behold, I first stood and said, no, wait a minute, what is happening here? There was buy one, get one free. You guys, I have known buy one, get one free to be you're buying this product, and then there's this small part of the product or even a small that's produced by the same brand that they attach to it. Here was buy one pair of shoes and get another one free. I'm like, there is a catch. So I look at the price. The price was the lowest we had seen so far. It was the lowest we had seen so far. I still couldn't believe it, as like there's a mistake here. So I need an attendant to just be sure that this is true. It was that too good to be true kind of situation. So we get an attendant. I'm like, you mean when I buy one pair, I get another one free? He's like, yeah. Say, does it have to be the same size? No. You guys. Let me tell you. By the way, I already told you that it had the lowest price, and it was still the brands we were seeing, like a good brand that we were happy to take. And I had a moment. It was that realization of this was God. This is God who directed us to this place. Remember, this is a place we bypassed, and we honestly had no intention of going into that store, because we had already told ourselves that this store should be more expensive than the brand stores. But we just went in anyway, not expecting much. And see how this voice of, no, go this side. And you go to this side, and then you see the ones you're seeing, it's different from what you want. But there's still a prompting, continue checking. That was God's voice. God sometimes speaks like that. He's telling you to do something. And because there are so many doubts, or the circumstances surrounding that thing don't seem like the thing will go through, maybe it's even a business that God is telling you to do. But then you see the many hurdles you have to cross, and you're like, no, I don't think it is. It is. Listen, keep listening. Keep listening. Follow what your spirit is saying. I can assure you, at one point, when I saw different types of shoes, I was like, let me turn back. I think this section has a different kind of shoe. And there were the shoes that God wanted me to buy. These are the same kind of shoes I was seeing in the other stores. And now I did not get them just at less the price, but that less price, now half of it, because I was getting another shoe for free. Sometimes God is speaking to us, and we disregard that voice because it doesn't sound the way you are told that God's voice sounds. This is a small, still voice telling you, don't do this. But because your flesh wants you to do it, because you can't wait to do this, it's telling you, don't deal with that person. Say, no, don't get into any kind of relationship with that person. But because, but you see, she seems a nice person. He seems a cool guy. Let me try and see. And then you end up into a relationship that will destroy your life. And at point T, you will look back and be like, but when I met this person, there was something off about them. And I just ignored it. I know you have been in such situations where you have done something clearly that there was a prompting of don't do it. God is always speaking like that. That is one of the ways. It's not the only way. But we need to be able to listen and obey. You may listen, but you decide to make your own decision. So I want to encourage someone who probably thinks, I think God forgot that I exist. Maybe he's attending to other people. My turn hasn't yet come. If you are in that place right now, I want you to know that actually God knows. You just need to trust him. And by trusting God, it doesn't mean that you sit down and say, God, I trust you. You build a relationship. Work on your relationship with God. That way it becomes easier. When he speaks, it becomes easier for you to hear their voice. It's just like people. I've had people call me, then they tell me I sound like one of my sisters. But then I've had people that I can call with a number I've never used before, and they'll be like, oh, Jamie, you get it. As some are thinking, you sound like so-and-so. Others are actually able to recognize my voice because of how much we interact. It's the same thing with God. When you build a relationship with God, it takes you to that place where you start to listen to his voice and you start to understand, I think this is God speaking. And sometimes it's very clear, you're like, yeah, this is God speaking. So it's my prayer that you get, first of all, to have confidence in the fact that God is your Father and he can speak to you. That is the starting point. He doesn't have to speak to someone for that person to speak to you. He can do that. He can do that. Absolutely. He's done that so many times. But he can also speak to you directly. So I want you to first believe it, because that's where it starts. It starts with you believing it. If you don't believe it, then it's hard for you to achieve something you don't believe in. It's hard for you to realize something you don't believe in, because even when you see it, you still don't believe it is what you're seeing. You get it? And then keep on building a relationship. Building a relationship with God through prayer, through reading his word, through fellowship, so many other things that will help you to understand him better and to commune with him more. So I want to encourage someone that is discouraged, that is at the verge of giving up, or even already gave up. I want you to remember that God speaks to you. You are his child. He loves you as much as he loves everybody else. God has no favorites. But I don't think that God loves the people you think he loves more than he loves you. He loves us the same. It's just that we have a different relationship. We are at different levels in our relationship with him. Like the story I told you. There are people I will call from a strange number and they will immediately recognize my voice. There are people I will call and they will think I'm one of my sisters. And there are people I will call and they absolutely have no idea who this is. And even when I say it's Jamie, they're like, which Jamie? And I have to explain myself. You understand? So let's work on a relationship with God. And it's my prayer that you will get to hear what he's saying to you. You will get to listen more, and that he will guide you in the many decisions that you have to make. Well, until next time, bye.